Bobby.
On a bright morning along a quiet cliffside road in Australia, newlyweds Rob and Pia, a French couple, are heading to a remote lake for a fishing getaway. Rob is a lawyer, and Pia is a sculptor. Just 1 month into their marriage, this trip offers them a chance to escape the pressures of city life and enjoy some peaceful time together. At the dock, Rob rents a small fishing boat and gear from a local. Meanwhile, Pia changes into her swimsuit, but her mood shifts when she catches two older men watching her with uncomfortable stares. She quickly adjusts her zipper, feeling uneasy. Still, when Rob returns with the gear, she says nothing about the boat's rough shape and joins him without complaint. They set off across the lake, surrounded by crystal-clear water and distant mountain views. They drop anchor and begin fishing, laughing and chatting about their lives and dreams. Pia, despite being new to fishing, lands the first catch, and Rob helps her reel it in with a proud smile. Pia grows concerned and suggests heading back. The clear sky is gone, replaced by an eerie gray. But Rob, still curious, spots a mangrove-covered island in the distance and insists on exploring it first. What they don't realize is, this is the point of no return. This is storm warning. As they near the island, the boat's engine sputters and fails to run smoothly. Rob eventually gets it working. They continue into unfamiliar territory, drifting farther from the safety of the dock. The sky darkens even more, the wind strengthens, and the waves begin to rise. As night falls, Rob and Pia continue circling the area, still unable to find their way back to the dock. Their phone has no signal in this remote place, leaving them completely cut off. Pia starts to panic and blames Rob for bringing them to an unknown, empty location. Rob tries to stay calm and keeps searching, hoping they'll spot a village or some sign of people. Suddenly, they see headlights from a car parked on a dirt road not far from the shore. At first, it seems like help, but when they look closer, they freeze in horror. Two men are torturing someone. Terrified, Rob and Pia quietly turn away and leave without saying a word. Soon after, it starts raining heavily, making their situation even worse. A little later, they spot a faint light coming from a rundown house hidden among thick trees. With no better option, they decide to go there for shelter and maybe find help. Rob ties the boat to the rocky shore, and they carefully make their way toward the house. Rob knocks several times on the front door, hoping someone is home and can help. No one answers, so he checks the back door, which turns out to be unlocked. He steps inside and is hit by the sight of a messy house with strange objects scattered everywhere. A foul smell fills the air, making Pia feel sick. Rob unlocks the front door from the inside to let Pia in. They both begin searching the house for a phone, hoping the owner won't be angry they walked in uninvited. While checking the property, Rob finds a shed behind the house filled with large pots of marijuana plants. It quickly becomes clear the owner is involved in something illegal, and now their situation is even more dangerous. Just then, Pia spots headlights shining through the front window and screams for Rob. The owner is back, and they're stuck inside. They hear the engine cut off and the slam of a car door. Rob and Pia look at each other in fear, realizing they're in serious danger. The house belongs to the Wagner family, Poppy, the father, and his two sons, Jimmy and Brad. They are marijuana farmers pretending to be bean growers. They live far from town and don't welcome strangers. When they see their home has been broken into, Jimmy and Brad are furious. They storm in, pointing guns at Rob and Pia. Rob tries to stay calm and tells them they're lost, meant no harm, and just need directions back to town. He apologizes and promises they'll leave right away, but Jimmy doesn't care. He says the area is so remote there are no hotels, no phones, and no way to call for help. Instead of letting them go, he forces Rob and Pia into the house at gunpoint. Inside the hot, filthy house, Jimmy begins acting inappropriately toward Pia, even showing off a dead kangaroo hanging from the ceiling to scare her. Meanwhile, Brad drags in their drunken father, Poppy, who can barely walk. Jimmy tries to keep Rob and Pia out of sight, worried that Poppy will get angry if he finds strangers in their home. Jimmy then orders Rob and Pia to wash up in the disgusting, foul-smelling bathroom. While inside, the two whisper about how to escape. Rob tells Pia about the marijuana plants he found in the shed, explaining that the Wagner family is growing drugs illegally and could go to prison if the police found out. They both agree they must get out that night and report everything. However, just outside the bathroom door, Jimmy is secretly listening. After hearing their plan, he quietly steals their clean clothes and replaces them with old, torn rags to stop them from escaping. When Rob steps out and sees their clothes are gone, he demands Jimmy give them back. Jimmy becomes even more furious. He's angry Rob wandered into their property and saw the illegal drug operation. Now, to make up for their mistake, Jimmy says Rob and Pia must follow all his commands without question. He then tells Pia to cook dinner for the family. Shaking with fear, she agrees. While cooking in the dirty kitchen, Pia is constantly insulted and threatened by Jimmy and Brad. Their cruel words rattle her so badly that she burns the food. When Jimmy sees the ruined meal, he explodes with rage. As punishment, he orders Pia to butcher the kangaroo carcass, saying they've run out of food. Pia refuses, feeling sick and heartbroken at the idea of cutting up the animal, even though it's already dead. Jimmy then threatens to hurt Rob if she doesn't obey. Crying and overwhelmed, Pia is forced to go through it. The Wagner brothers laugh cruelly as Pia suffers, while Poppy stays passed out upstairs, drunk and unaware.
It's Bobby.
After finishing the meal in a shaken state, Pia begs for a place to rest. Jimmy and Brad agree to let them sleep in the farming shed, but it's guarded by their aggressive dog. Inside the cramped, dark shed, Rob begins planning their escape. He watches for any chance to slip away when the guard isn't paying attention. He knows they have to leave soon, or things could get even worse. Eventually, they sneak out and run through a shadowy path, hoping it will lead to the main road. But their escape is cut short. They come across the dead body of the man they had seen being tortured earlier, now lying in the grass in a horrifying state. The gruesome sight freezes them in place. Just then, Jimmy and Brad catch up, grab them, and violently drag them back to the shed. Back in the shed, Rob tries to make a deal by offering a ransom of $200,000 in exchange for their release. But Jimmy laughs off the offer.
You fucking lawyer.
Saying he wants something more entertaining than money. To make Rob weaker, Jimmy forces him to drink strong alcohol. The situation becomes even more dangerous when Jimmy shows signs he wants to hurt Pia. Just then, Poppy wakes up from all the noise. Furious, he storms into the shed and beats both Jimmy and Brad for allowing strangers into their territory. He's scared that their illegal marijuana operation could be exposed. Poppy then orders his sons to lock Rob and Pia up tightly. Inside the shed, Pia does her best to help Rob, who now has a broken leg from a hit by Brad. She uses a wooden block to support it and eases his pain. Even in these rough conditions, Pia begins thinking of ways to defend themselves. She creates a makeshift weapon by attaching sharp nails to the lid of a jagged can. While looking around, Pia finds an old fishing rod on the wall. She uses the hook and some rope to build a deadly trap and sets it up in a smart location, preparing for the next time someone comes in. Later, Poppy hears the guard dog barking and sends Brad to the shed to kill Rob, while ordering Pia to be kept alive for his twisted intentions. Brad enters with a rifle and roughly wakes Pia, telling her he's going to kill Rob. Thinking fast, Pia starts talking to Brad, trying to distract him. She tells him he's better than his brother Jimmy, trying to create doubt and use the tension between the brothers. As Brad starts to relax, Pia quickly activates the trap she set earlier. The sharp fishing hook rips into Brad's face, making him scream in pain. Pia takes the chance to grab a heavy tool and strikes Brad repeatedly, killing him. She hides his body in a storage cabinet so no one finds it right away. Meanwhile, Poppy grows impatient and tells Jimmy to bring Pia to his room for his sick purpose. Jimmy heads to the shed and asks where Brad is, but Pia acts like she doesn't know. When Jimmy notices blood on the floor, Pia tries to run, but he catches her and drags her to Poppy's room. Poppy tries to assault Pia, but she uses the serrated lid she made earlier and slashes his groin, causing a serious injury. He screams in agony. Jimmy breaks down the door to see what happened, but Pia escapes through the window and jumps to the lower floor, dodging Jimmy's gunfire as she runs. Pia returns to the shed to reunite with Rob, who is still badly hurt. They quickly hide behind a stack of tools and equipment. Meanwhile, Jimmy hears movement near the storage cabinet and storms in, firing his gun without warning. Instead of hitting Pia or Rob, he accidentally knocks over Brad's dead body, which falls right on top of him, shocking him completely. When Jimmy realizes his brother is dead, he becomes even more violent and obsessed with getting revenge. At that moment, Pia and Rob take advantage of his distraction. They escape the shed and lock Jimmy inside, then hurry toward Poppy's car parked out front, desperate to get away from the nightmare. Once inside the car, they realize the ignition key is missing. Without hesitation, Pia goes back into the house to search for it, while Rob stays behind to keep watch. She checks several places before finally finding the key, then runs back outside. But just as she's about to reach the car, Poppy, somehow still alive despite his serious wounds, appears and tries to grab her. However, the Wagner family's guard dog catches the scent of blood on Poppy and turns on him. The dog attacks violently, mauling Poppy until he dies in a gruesome scene. At the same time, Jimmy manages to break free from the shed and jumps into a farming vehicle. He speeds toward Pia and Rob, trying to ram into their car in a fit of rage. But the weight of Brad's dead body, still stuck on the front of the vehicle, slows him down. Fed up and no longer willing to run, Pia fights back. She slams their car into Jimmy's vehicle, sending him flying. He lands hard and gets caught in the spinning blades of his own farming machine, dying in a bloody and brutal way. His violent rampage finally ends. After making sure all members of the Wagner family are gone, Pia and Rob drive away from the terrifying place. Exhausted but alive, they breathe deeply, grateful to have survived. The film closes with the two of them disappearing into the dark night, leaving the nightmare and the haunted island behind for good. So the moral of the story is, if your romantic fishing trip includes a creepy island, a busted boat, and a weed farm run by kangaroo hanging psychos, maybe just stick to Netflix and chill.